Dive into the world of myth and legend as we explore the 13 most powerful mythical weapons. From magical swords to sacred artifacts, these legendary items have captivated people for ages, mixing heroism and mysticism in stories from different cultures. The Trident. The Trident, a mega-cool weapon from Greek myths, was Poseidon's, the big boss of the sea, main tool. This weapon had 3 sharp points and was all about showing Poseidon's power over the oceans. He could do wild stuff with it like whip up huge storms, shake the earth, and control the waves. Legend says Poseidon got this epic trident during a massive throwdown called the Titanomachy, where the gods, including Poseidon, beat the Titans. The Cyclopes, these ancient mega-blacksmiths, gifted him the trident. But wait, there's more. The trident wasn't just about water and disasters. It could also make horses. Poseidon used his trident to make the first horse in a contest to see who'd be Athens' favorite god. But Athena won with her olive tree. Mjolnir. Now let's talk about Mjolnir, Thor's famous hammer in Norse myths. This hammer, made by dwarf brothers Sindri and Brokkr, was about Thor's power and protecting folks. Mjolnir means the smasher, and fit Thor's thunder god vibe perfectly. In these myths, Mjolnir brought the boom with lightning and thunder, just like Thor's control over storms. When Thor swung Mjolnir, it was like a crazy light show with thunderous applause. The Norse folks thought of thunderstorms as Thor showing off. This hammer could even level mountains. Talk about power. But get this, Mjolnir had a weird short handle because Loki messed up its making. Despite that, it was still the top weapon in Norse stories. Thor could even shrink it down and tuck it in his shirt, showing its magical side. Mjolnir wasn't just for smashing enemies. It was used in special rituals too, blessing stuff and people. People even wore Mjolnir amulets for protection. Ame-no-Ohabari. Ame-no-Ohabari is one seriously awesome blade from Japanese myths, mainly from the Izumo stories. It's got a name that means Heaven Point Blade Extended, which is pretty cool, right? This sword is super long, has 2 sharp edges, and is known as a Totsuka no Tsurugi, or sword of length of 10 fists. Now, in this old book called the Kojiki, which is all about ancient Japanese tales, Ame-no-Ohabari gets a big shout-out. It's the sword that Izanagi, a major god in Shintoism, used to take down Kagutsuchi, the fire god. This moment was a huge deal in these myths because when Kagutsushi's blood hit the sword, a bunch of other gods, including Takemikazuchi, the thunder, sword, and fire god, were born. But wait, there's more to Ame-no-Ohabari. It wasn't just a cool weapon, it was almost sent to Earth for a big takeover mission. Ultimately, the sword itself, which could think and make decisions, suggested sending its relative, Takemikazuchi no Kami, instead. Taming Sari. Taming Sari is a legendary kriss, like a dagger, from Malay folklore, famously owned by the hero Hang Tuah. Its name means flower shield or beautiful shield, and it's said to make whoever holds it impossible to hurt. This dagger is a big deal in Malay culture. A Javanese blacksmith made Taming Sari and first belonged to a warrior named Taming Sari. Making a kriss is a mystical process involving rituals and special ingredients. The steel is folded a bunch, and they use water from different rivers and stuff like sulfuric acid to make it look unique and super deadly. Naran Asra. The Naran Asra is a super powerful weapon from the Indian epic, the Mahabharata. This thing is not your average weapon. It's a celestial missile linked to Lord Vishnu, who's like a top-tier god in Hinduism. When someone uses it, it's like a million deadly missiles launching all at once. And the crazier part? The harder you fight against it, the more powerful it gets. This weapon made a big appearance in the epic battle of Kurukshetra. A guy named Ashwatthama, who was Drona's son, used it against the Pandavas, a group of 5 warrior brothers. Bhima, one of these brothers, didn't want to back down because he thought giving up was for cowards. But his stubbornness only made the Naran Asra go wilder. The only way to stop this beast of a weapon? Total surrender. That's right, you can't fight it. You just have to give up. Apollo's golden bow. Apollo is this multi-talented Greek god of a lot of things like music, truth, the sun, and of course, archery. He's often shown with this shiny gold or silver bow and matching arrows. This bow is a big deal because it shows off Apollo's mad archery skills, which he's said to have invented with his sister Artemis. Apollo's bow isn't just for show. It can do 2 opposite things, heal or destroy. That's because Apollo is a complicated god who can bring both good health and nasty plagues. His bow symbolizes many things like death, fear, protection, and revealing the truth. This golden bow is said to shoot flaming or exploding arrows, connecting Apollo to the sun and light. Fragarach. Fragarach, a name you might not hear every day, but in Irish folklore it's a big deal. Picture this. A cool sword has nicknames like the Whisperer and the Answerer. This isn't your average blade you'd find at a medieval fair. It's a superstar in the world of Celtic myths, packed with deep meanings and symbols. Now get this. The gods themselves are said to have made Fragarach. That's right, not some blacksmith, but actual deities. This gives the sword a kind of magic vibe, setting it way apart from ordinary swords. It's like having a weapon straight out of a fantasy novel. Pachatatastra. Now let's talk about the Pachatatastra. This weapon is linked to Lord Shiva, the god who can make and break everything. The Pachatatastra is so powerful, it's said to be capable of wiping out the whole universe. Arjuna, a hero of the Hindu epic Mahabharata, got his hands on this weapon. But it wasn't easy. He had to do some serious penance to impress Lord Shiva. Shiva, seeing Arjuna's skills and dedication, gives him the Pachatatastra. But Arjuna, knowing this weapon could literally end the world, decides not to use it in battle. This weapon makes other mythical weapons look like toys. It's the ultimate destroyer, once used by Shiva himself to take down an entire city of bad guys in one go. Sword of Freyr. The Sword of Freyr is a big deal in Norse mythology. Freyr is this god who's all about good vibes. Think fertility, peace, and prosperity. His sword isn't just any old piece of metal. It's magic and can fight by itself. Imagine a sword swinging and clashing without anyone holding it. Pretty awesome, right? Now, the coolest part about his sword is that it can be thrown down in a fight all on its own. It's not just a sword. It's like having a warrior buddy who doesn't need a break. This shows just how special and powerful it is. But there's a problem. When Ragnarok comes, Freyr doesn't have his sword anymore, and that's a huge problem. There's this theory that during Ragnarok, he has to fight the giant Surtur, who might actually be using Freyr's sword against him. Talk about tragic. Vaya Bow. Now let's jump to the Vaya Bow from the Mahabharata, an epic Indian saga. This bow is no ordinary weapon. It's like the Ferrari of bows, made by Vishvakarma, the divine architect. It first belonged to Indra, the king of heaven, and then traveled through some serious heavyweights in Hindu myths. The Vijaya bow isn't just about brute strength. It's got some mystical flair too. When it's used, it's like a thunderstorm mixed with a laser show. And its string? Unbreakable. Any arrow shot from it gets supercharged with sacred chants, making it unstoppable. The Vijaya bow is more than a weapon. It's a symbol of how divine powers mix into human stories. It represents the endless cycle of battles and how heroes strive against all odds. The bow's journey, from gods to warriors, reflects the complex themes of fate, duty, and power in the epic. Vajra. Vajra from Hindu mythology is a weapon so cool, it's like a mix of a sword, mace, and spear all rolled into one. It's connected to Indra, the thunder god, and is as tough and unstoppable as a thunderbolt. This isn't just any old mythical weapon. It's got a backstory that involves sacrifice and restoring cosmic balance. The Vajra didn't just appear out of thin air. It was made using the spine of a sage named Dadichi. He wasn't forced or anything. He gave up his life willingly for this. Why? Because Indra needed to defeat this bad dude Vritra, a demon causing a mega drought. With the Vajra, Indra managed to take down Vritra, which was a big deal because it brought back water and prosperity to the world. In battles, the Vajra was the ultimate game changer. It's not just any weapon. It's considered one of the most powerful in the universe. This weapon isn't just about fighting, it's about divine beings stepping in to make sure the good guys win. Shor. Shor, the smasher of thousands from Sumerian mythology, isn't your typical mace. It's enchanted and can talk, making it a standout in ancient tales. But Shor isn't just for bashing enemies. It's got a mind of its own. Shor is also a messenger, giving Ninurta advice and strategies straight from the god Enlil. This makes Shor more than a weapon. It's like a wise counselor in battle gear. Shor's power isn't just about how hard it hits. It's about who's holding it. It has its own moral compass, staying dormant if the person wielding it isn't up to snuff, and it'll seek a new, worthy owner. When Ninurta lost Shorur, it was like a sign of the Assyrian Empire going downhill, showing how linked they were. Gay Bide and Gay Dur spears. Let's dive into the world of Irish mythology and talk about Diarmuid Ua Duibni, a total legend known for his warrior skills and some epic weapons. He's got these two spears, Gay Bide and Gay Dur, and they're not your average spears. They're magical and can cause wounds that no one can heal. These spears, Gay Bide and Gay Dur, are more than just weapons. They're like icons in Irish mythology. They stand for Diarmuid's fighting skills and hero status, but they also bring in that mystical, otherworldly vibe that makes Irish stories so captivating. These tales, loaded with deep meanings and important to Irish culture, have been told and retold, keeping the magic of Irish myths alive for generations. Do you have a favorite? Give it a thumbs up and click the subscribe button for more content.